We're here this evening to talk about the micro honey harvester. For those of you that have been following the page, you've seen some advertisements for this and some of our journey to get where we're going with the micro harvester in form of getting cassettes waxed and getting them out into the bee yard and then inspecting them and updating some pictures along the way. So today in the apiary inspections, I've got, 60 or 70 cassettes that are probably ready to harvest. But just for a refresher, these are the frames for the cassettes, and the cassettes that go in them look like this, and you put a wax coating over them. Bees fill them with nectar, cap them over, like the main stars of our show here, and then we're going to open these here in a few minutes, and we're going to extract the honey out of them. You'll notice I have two things at my disposal: a spatula, an extractor, actually three things. And I brought a jar so that I can put my fresh new honey in a jar. And I may just take this to the Mexican restaurant when we finish to put it on some fresh hot sopapillas. We'll have to see how that goes. But you get a micro harvester, a spatula, a tool to take the cassettes apart. These go in your colony, and when you're done, you just swap your cassettes back out and let the bees fill them back up. So I had a medium frame out there that has 4 cassettes in it. I took 2 cassettes out, replaced them with 2 cassettes that I had already waxed, so the bees can start working on that. And the next time I go and get some cassettes, I'll take these 2 back and let the bees work on removing the wax caps, putting fresh nectar in it, and then we'll do it again. So without further ado, let's get into this extraction part. So this is the first time we've done it. This was not practiced. It was not rehearsed. I have seen it done. I saw it done in Copenhagen, where we met with the founders there, and so we're going to try it now for our very first time. So very simple. We're going to push the handle over, and this frame's going to fall over because my table's going to wiggle, and we're going to pull this off. And if you just look down inside, this is very simple. This is our extractor. We're going to take that cassette apart. We're going to drop those cassettes on either side with the honey gooiness sticking to the outside. And just like an extractor, centrifugal force is going to force that honey out onto the sidewalls of the vessel, and that's going to run down to the bottom. It's battery operated. You can do this almost anywhere. For us, we won't be doing it in the bee yard, but we could do this in a restaurant, on our kitchen table, kitchen counter, for a fun experience event. Let's say you're having a party and you've got charcuterie boards. Comb honey was, 2025. Now you can do fresh harvest honey right there as a whole new elevated experience for your party goers. Very easy to clean. There won't be a lot of mess here. We don't have any wax cappings to deal with or honey running all over the place. You'll notice these are just sitting here on my fine tablecloth. No extra papers or anything. There's nothing running all over the place. Now we may find differently here when we crack this open, but that's what I'm expecting. So we're gonna go ahead and take this. And you'll notice there's a little key here. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not out of the camera view. There's a little key here. And we're just going to take our tool that comes with it, and we're going to crack this open. Maybe I should have practiced. I also know they'll come apart with my fingers. So I will use my thumbs, and I will pull this apart. Now you can see the gooey goodness inside, all that honey, right? It's not running all over the place, right? Surface tension of the honey and being thick and sticky is sticking to the sidewalls. Now we're going to take these cassettes, we're going to turn them wax facing each other into the extractor. Oh, I can feel that I'm getting excited now. This is about to happen. And then we're going to push this down in here like that. We're going to return our lid. Make sure we get this pushed down in here good. There's a click in here. You get a little wax on them. There we go. It might take a little bit to push down in there, but that's far easier than decapping and doing all that other nonsense. Now we've got our honey we've got our cassette in the extractor. Move this back just a little, maybe that'll be easier to see. And we're going to reach right around the front here, and we're going to push this magic button. We're going to hold it down for a few seconds, and it's going to start spinning. look at that fine honey coming right out. This is going to spin for about 30 seconds. We should get about 5.8 ounces of honey. Perfect for a family of 4 that maybe uses honey occasionally. This is not the answer if you're looking to harvest several hundred pounds or tons of honey. But talk to me. I have a use case for you if that's the case that uses this. It might fetch a little bit more for your honey. Now, that's going to run down the sidewalls. Well, I'm going to do it again just to see if we get any more out of it. I mean, why not? Doesn't cost anything. So it's still singing a little bit. It's probably hard to see, but I can see it landing on the... And there's no wax in here. And if there is, it'll be very minimal. It would be similar to eating comb honey with much less wax in this process, in this case. Somebody dinged me. Let me see if there was a question over here. I don't think so. All right, we got our honey out. We're gonna pull the handle off, open the lid. Notice there's no honey up here in the top. This probably won't need a whole lot of cleaning. I'm just thinking about doing the whole extraction process. Then I'm gonna pull this out. I'm gonna just set it over here to the side for right now. And then I'm just gently going to twist this, pull this up, and now I'm going to show you the inside. Now, if you had a spoon and you were right here, you could start to taste some of that very fresh honey. The bees just finished this in the past week or so. I don't have to wait for the frame to be fully drawn out if you have some awareness of how the process works in general. You would generally be waiting for frames to be fully capped. Here we're just waiting for cassettes to be capped. No muss, no fuss, no fuss, no muss. So I'm going to take my little spatula. Now I did clean the spatula and the vessel here before we got started so that you didn't have to watch me do all that part. I'm just going to scrape the honey down here off the side walls. You can see the volume, right, that's there. This is not hard to do. Just going to pour this down in here. Maybe I should do it another way. Let me do it this way. Pull it around the corner like this. I'm just going to try to get it all down here in this corner right here. And I can't wait. My sopapillas are going to be really good this evening. For those of you that may not be aware, sopapillas are a Mexican dish. Basically, it's a fried tortilla for the most part, flour one. Probably a little more to it than that, but now look at that! Look at that honey we got, right? Now we could just throw another cassette in here and do it again, but we're just doing one tonight. I don't think I can eat this much honey tonight. All right, you don't have to watch me clean the bowl spick and span. So I'm just going to reach over here and get my jar just to give you some perspective. Hopefully you can see this. I don't really have a way for you to tell me if you can't. It won't be the first video I screwed up today. There we go. This is also part of our Hive to Harvest product line, or really not a product line. It's just the idea is to identify tools that help make it easier for the bees or the beekeeper. Don't require a lot of maintenance, make it easy so you can spend more time on the bees and less time on equipment maintenance and that kind of thing. All right, there's still some more in here that I could get out. But we got our honey, right? Several cups of coffee during the week, depending on how much sweetness you like. And I'm going to use my finger because nobody else is going to have this. Wow, it's a little different flavor profile than I was expecting. That's the other neat thing about this. When you start to get into this, honeys from around the world have very different flavor profiles. In traditional extraction and harvesting, especially for hobbyists and sideliners, unless you're very diligent in removing your frames of honey at the time certain blooms end, you end up with a blend of whatever the bees were going after at that particular time. In this case, some frames will be ready, some cassettes will be ready earlier in the nectar flow, and we can take those cassettes and actually taste the different floral varieties that we have blooming around us no matter where you are. And this now becomes a fun family project where everybody likes honey, most everybody. And they can all take and have samples of this and taste it and write their own notes about what they taste, and then you make it a family comparison. And then you kind of know what you're looking for in the next year. There's lots of use cases for this. This is really just kind of scratching the surface on, as a hobbyist sideliner, what you can do with this. This is great for markets. If you run a Michelin star restaurant or you're a chef at a farm-to-table restaurant, this is a different kind of dining experience. Think of Bananas Foster's. A lot of high-end restaurants will bring that out and burn it at the table for you. Now you could bring out a cassette of honey and actually serve fresh harvested honey right there at the table. Just elevates your dining experience, makes it a more memorable experience for your customer, and probably gets them to talk about it a little bit more in socials and with their friends and family. I don't know what else I can tell you. I could probably ramble on for another hour, but this was meant to be brief. It doesn't take very long to extract the honey. I've talked longer than we did extracting honey. But what I'm going to do is look over here and see if I can figure out if anybody's got questions. And maybe I can try to answer those while you're here on the phone or on the Facebook Live. But I don't see how to do that. The special event is happening now. Well, I will try to find your questions. Let me step behind the camera and see if I see any scrolling through, and I'll try to narrate those best I can. I'll try not to make you dizzy in this process. Amanda said she could hear me. Okay, good. Thanks, Amanda. So I'm going to flip the camera around here, I think. Yeah. Well, I'll just take some... Ooh, you don't want to see me. Ooh. Okay. So here we can see just a little closer, right? There's still honey in here. So I'll spend some time after we go off camera further cleaning this up and getting all that gooey goodness, right? This will be a much easier process than trying to get it out of a big 3 or 2 frame extractor. I'll get more of it on an extraction basis. And so that's all there is to it. It's this micro harvester. It's battery operated. It takes a USB charging port. Comes with the cable. You do have to provide your wall wart to plug it into. Comes with the lid. You get a tool. You can get kits, and we can make them up any way you want, really. We've had people come in and buy the micro harvester in 4 frames, buy them with 10 frames, buy them with 22 frames. It all depends on what your goals and values are and what you're trying to achieve. But with that, and so here we can see, I guess I should come back to this. Now, what I'll do with this, I'm going to put it in here just so I don't knock it over inadvertently. Now, I will take these cassettes out of here, put them back together, and the next time I go to get cassettes from the yard, I will just take those cassettes with me to fill the void that I'm going to take the other cassette from, right? The bees are going to take care of the wax capping. They'll redeploy that wax, reuse it, and if there's any nectar flow, they'll start filling those cells back up with nectar, and we'll just repeat the process. Really hard to kind of explain if you've never harvested honey before, the simplicity that this brings to the table in terms of being able to extract honey when you want it at a micro level. it's just a total game changer for certainly for the small scale and even sideliners. Because like I said, I think you can elevate your game at the farmers markets if you're going there. You can actually connect with your consumer a little bit more to show them kind of how the process works, and then sell them the bottles that you pulled out of your bigger extractor. But this will create a commitment and a level of engagement with your consumer that just handing them a bottle of jar will not create. So with that, oh, I saw there's another question. How much is the unit? Check our website, www.magnoliabeansupply.com. The pricing is out there. So as this video will last over time, pricing may not be the same. I won't state the pricing in here. So, all right. Well, I appreciate everybody's time this evening. I think I'm going to go to the Mexican restaurant and have some sopapillas. I hope you guys have a great evening, and we'll do this again soon sometime. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.